Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike Green. I'm one of the owners of 1A Auto. I want to help you save time and money repairing and maintaining your vehicle. I'm going to use my 20 plus years experience restoring and repairing cars and trucks like this to show you the correct way to install parts from 1AAuto.com. The right parts installed correctly. That's going to save you time and money. Thank you and enjoy the video.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the front brake pads and rotors on this 2004 Dodge Ram 1500. This is a four-wheel drive. This procedure is generally the same for most of this generation truck. Tools you'll need are 7/8, actually, or a 22 millimeter, pretty much the same size, 13/16, 13 millimeter sockets, ratchet. You'll probably want a breaker bar or a pipe to get some leverage on your ratchet handle, a sledgehammer if your rotors are rusted on like they were on our vehicle, a large screwdriver or a small pry bar, wire brush, large C-clamp, and we also use some penetrating oil. First, you want to remove your wheel. If you're just using hand tools, start with the vehicle on the ground, loosen the lug nuts first, then raise it, secure it with jack stands, and then remove the wheel. I've got air tools, so I'm going to use them. These are either 7/8 or 22 millimeter, both will work. Okay, and we'll fast forward here as I just remove the lug nuts, the cap, and the wheel. Okay, so now with the wheel off, you can check the condition of your brakes, your rotors. Use the back of your finger, just kind of run it up and down, and if you feel any large ridges, or this actually has some it's a pretty deep groove here, so I'm actually going to replace these rotors. And then you can check the condition of your pads. You can see my pads are actually in pretty good shape. The pad is kind of right there in the middle. Let me turn the rotor. So there's the rotor you can see turning, so the pad's right next to it. So there's some pretty good life in the pad, but I don't like the look of these rotors, so I'm going to replace the rotors and pads. What you'll want to do, take a large pry bar or a large screwdriver or a small pry bar like this, and you're going to pry out on the caliper. This pushes the pistons. These are pistons right here. By prying out, those pistons get pushed back into the caliper. To remove the caliper, you're going to want to remove two 13 millimeter bolts, one here and then one up here. Okay. And pretty easy. These bolts are not supposed to be too tight, so they should come off with a small ratchet and socket or a wrench. Okay, so the caliper comes off. Take that and just rest it up here for now. And now your brake pads, back side will just come right out. If you want, you can use your pry bar. The front side comes right out. So now you can see this the rotor is still blocked by this bracket. And to get the bracket off, it's two bolts, one here, one here. What I'm finding is best is a 13/16, 21 millimeters. Looks like it's just a little too big. Kind of odd that they go back and forth between standard and metric. To get these bolts undone, you'll either want a breaker bar like this. Okay. Or if you just have a ratchet, you can use a piece of pipe, hook it onto your ratchet or your breaker bar. Give yourself some extra leverage and loosen up these bolts. Just be careful when you do this and pull nice and easy, don't jerk. When you're putting that much torque on it, you don't want it to fall off the bolt. Okay, and then after showing you how to do the leverage, I just cheat and use the impact wrench anyways. Okay, I'm going to spray the rotor with tons of penetrant. Hopefully you can get in there. Depending on your vehicle, you may even want to do this and let it sit overnight. Also back on the back side of between the rotor and the hub. Pull out the big gun. And you probably noticed the shiny new hub there. I did do this brake video along with a couple other repairs. If you'd like to see the other steps involved in replacing that hub, then just check out our other videos. Okay, new rotors from 1A Auto. They go on nicely. I like to just take a lug nut, just so it's somewhat held on there when I put the brakes together. Okay, this is the bracket that the caliper bolts to, as well as the shoes go on, and it has some stainless steel slides here. Just want to take a wire brush, clean those off real good. And now we've got our two large bolts, 13/16. Okay, so we'll put the bracket on like that. Okay, and just as kind of a reminder, the bracket goes on the disc side and the bolts go in. Okay, I'm going to tighten up these bolts a little bit. I'm going to use my torque wrench and tighten them to 110 foot-pounds. Okay, now I'm just going to wipe my rotors down with a little bit of mineral spirits here, just to make sure there's nothing on them. Mineral spirits, brake cleaner, even actually gasoline, as long as it cleans off grease and then evaporates quickly. Okay, my new pads from 1A Auto, exact same as the old pads. Okay, and here I fumble around with a minute. It's pretty easy to put these on, but what I found was that the brake disc was kind of wobbling around and preventing me, so I put another bolt on it and then squeeze them together, and it's all set. For the next step, you may want to loosen your brake fluid cap a little. Okay. When we pried out the caliper, we attempted to reset the pistons. Okay, but you can see the pistons are still sticking out. So what you can do is just take a old pad and then a large C-clamp, and then use the pad and the C-clamp to reset the pistons. As I tighten the C-clamp, the pistons go further in. Caliper back on, just make sure that these are sliding nice and free, and push them all the way that way, and then to put this back on, You put the top up in first, and then the bottom. And now start your 13mm bolts, and we'll put these in and then torque them to 25 foot-pounds. And we'll fast forward through the preliminary tightening of those bolts. Okay, now fast forwarding a little bit here, remove those two lug nuts that I used to hold the rotor in place, then put the wheel back up on, hand thread the lug nuts, and then I just tighten them up, kind of preliminarily with the air wrench. Okay, and then as you lower the vehicle on the ground, and then tighten the lug nuts, 120 foot-pounds, and you want to create a star pattern as you're torquing them. Last very important step, make sure you reset your disc brakes by pumping them, and then before you road test, do a stop from like 5 and 10 miles an hour. Just make sure your vehicle does stop before you enter the roadway. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.oneauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.